Yesterday, two amazing things happened to me, and the first one, I was all set to do a great video. I had a really cool story to tell you, but unfortunately that had to be pushed to the back burner because something else happened that just blew my mind. Welcome to Jared's Place for Music. Thanks for being here. So I live in a country town in rural South Australia called Mount Gambier, and population of, I don't know, I guess it's 25 to 30,000 people, I guess. And there's a jazz festival that happens here every year. It's called Generations in Jazz. It's been going since the early 90s. The pandemic obviously slowed things up, and we all, I guess us fans of the festival and stuff, thought, well, that's probably the end of it. I can't see that it's going to recover from that, but amazingly it has. So some of the acts that they've had previously to Generations in Jazz, some of the main acts, or maybe I should go back in time. So when I was a young trumpet player, the competition used to be just jazz soloists, right? They'd audition from all over the country, send in probably cassette tapes of them playing, and then James Morrison, who was one of the founders of the festival, and a panel of people would adjudicate those tapes, and then they would select, I think it was 5 finalists, 5 instrumentalists, to come to Mount Gambier to compete. Should music be a competition? That's a whole another discussion, perhaps for another day. But anyhow, to compete for a prize. The prize used to be money, and then it was an instrument. And then I think one year a piano player won it, and then Yamaha were like, nah, not giving them a piano. They had to stop that. So it became prize money, and then I think it became scholarship money, so they had to apply to get the money to go and do things for their education. I think there was studio time in James Morrison's studio to record an album, was one of the prizes one year. Anyhow, and some great players came through the Australian music scene through that. Players like Jamie Ohlers, Kelly Santon. There was a trumpet player, Roderick Mayhew. I remember him. He came to a sad end, unfortunately. Blaine Whitaker, another one. Con Campbell. Just some really fabulous players. And some of those that went through that competition are now directors of the festival, which is fantastic to see that come through. So anyhow, so as a kid, loving jazz music and going to this festival and blown away by all the players, and they'd bring an Australian big band of some sort. They'd throw a big band together of some really great players, and they had players like Graham Lyle, who incidentally lives here now. Paul Panicki was here on trumpet, John Hoffman on trumpet, some great players. Ronnie Sandilands on drums would come over, and they played a big band concert for all the kids. And there was, it was great. And obviously it was open to the public because they had to sell some tickets. And the venue was the Barn, which is a entertainment venue just out of town. We jumped forward a couple of years, and then they introduced a high school stage band competition in 1992. And as it turns out, that's me, year 12 at school, and there is a combined schools big band in the region, and we enter the competition, and there's probably in the first year 10 or 12 bands. I think it was 10. And I remember, I remember the piece that we had to play. There's a set piece that somebody arranges or composes for the main adjudication piece, and then you get to choose an own choice, and you've got to play a ballad. So that's what we did. And our own choice, the main piece that was written by Ed Wilson was called Generations in Jazz 92. Not very original, but memorable. And I still remember the intro to it, playing lead trumpet. I have my trumpet here. I wonder if I could play it. It doesn't matter. So yeah, there was that. And then for our own choice thing, we played Birdland. We played the hell out of Birdland. It was so good. I've got a tape of it somewhere. I should try and get that put onto a digital format, I think, because it's something we should have for longevity. Although, how long is longevity? That was 1992. And then for our ballad, we did an alto solo. I think it was called Samantha. And the band played it beautifully. It was lovely, right? So we compete, we play great, we don't win. There was some rumours, whether they were true or not, that we actually did win, but because we were the local band, the direction was, don't let the local band win it, can't give it to them because no one else will ever come again. I'd like to think that's true and that we did win, who knows. But the winner that year was Bathurst. And they're still coming. The Bathurst big band still comes. So that was cool. That's 1992. And then we enter again in 1994. I've gone back to high school because I didn't do high school very well in year 12. Had a year off and went back in 94, and again, terrible. So that didn't really happen. I'm just not a scholar. Just some people aren't, and I'm not. So that's Generations in Jazz. I've played in the inaugural high school stage band competition, and we were playing pretty good, right? It was fun, and I'm still in touch with some of the guys from that era. And actually, one of the guys, Adam, is bringing a band down to Generations this year. He's bringing a stage band down to the competition. The competition has now exploded. Over the years, it just grew, gradually bubbling along, and in the last, I'll say 10 years, it has just gone absolutely wild. So there still is the soloists, the 5 soloists that they compete for a prize. I don't know what the prize is anymore. They also now have 5 singers that compete for a prize. And then the big bands also come, the stage bands from all over Australia. Now remember, we're located at the very bottom of South Australia in a very regional town. Mostly forestry here, farming, bit of retail, of course. There's 25,000. Well, that's a fairly well-established community, right? But it's still a small town. But stage bands come from all over Australia. And I think last year was the first time that there was stage bands from every single state represented. I think there was a band from New Zealand last year came over as well. So it's grown and grown and grown. And unbelievably, somewhere around 4,000 or 5,000 kids come to this festival every year. Housing them is a whole other issue, and where they stay while they're here, but the city or the town seems to work it out. And then the performances are all held out at the barn, which is where the original Generations in Jazz was held, right? Probably haven't done justice to the inaugural people who started Generations in Jazz. And one of them I owe a lot to, and I wonder if that's a story for a different day. But I'll drop some names now, just so you've got them. Amazing people like Malcolm Bromley, Kevin Osman, and Dale Cleaves were 3 that come to mind that were part of the original crew that started this amazing festival, which is now the biggest jazz festival in the Southern Hemisphere, I believe. So anyhow, we get jumping forward again, back to 4,000 or 5,000 kids here, all playing at the barn at different stages, and now there's 6 or 7 different levels or grades that all the bands play in. So everybody can be included. And when we did it back in 92 or 90 and 94, everyone was the same level, right? So you all got the same test piece and you all had to play the same thing. But now, with all of these different levels, everyone gets to play test piece suited to their grade, if you like. There's adjudicators for all the different grades, and there's tents and there's sheds, and there's one of them's done in a horse stable and one of them's done in an onion shed, and it's just extraordinary to see this thing come together. And then on the Friday night, they have a welcome concert, I guess, and a few of the faculty, they do a concert, and they probably have a few guest artists for that as well. And then on the Saturday night, there is a major concert. And just to give you a hint of where I'm leading with this story and what has absolutely blown my mind, is they have attracted Dirty Loops were here a couple of years ago. That was incredible, man. Those guys live is something else. So yeah, Dirty Loops have been here. We've had the Cat Empire. They lifted the roof off. I'm just trying to think who else was here. I mean, I'm leading somewhere with this, right? So I'm just trying to create some suspense. But I'll just jump to it. So 10 years ago, or 11 years ago now, they bought out the Gordon Goodwin Big Fat Band. And oh my God, if you're an instrumentalist of any kind, that band, you know, is something else, right? Being a trumpet player, of course, we're thinking Wayne Bergeron, lead trumpet, he's everything, and he might be the best lead trumpet player to ever grace the planet. I don't know, but he is something else. But then there's Eric Marienthal was on lead alto, and Andy Martin on first trombone. It was just astonishing that they could attract and bring over an entire American big band. So that was remarkable, right? We've had some great Australian acts as well. I should mention we've had Kate Sobrano up there, and of course James Morrison has supported this event from the word go. Sadly, he's no longer involved. I don't know the story there, and I don't care to know. I really like James a lot, and his beautiful wife Judy, but I don't care to know what happened. But I'm very, very grateful for all the effort that James put into this incredible festival. So of course, yes, he's played at the festival as well. I know they brought out Take Six. Oh, there's a story for another day as well. Take Six. I was very lucky to spend quite a bit of time with Take Six, so I might tell you about that one day. They were something else as human beings, just beautiful people. And then last year again, the Gordon Goodwin Fat Band was here, the Big Fat Band, and it's incredible, right? So 10 years ago there was probably less social media when they were first here. Now there's lots of social media, and I've actually made a video of the concert. I'll link to it in the comments below. And it's just a phone thing that I've videoed, but it looks okay and the sound's pretty good. So if you want to see what happened last year at Generations in Jazz, you can watch that video. But to have that band here again, and oh yeah, the social media thing, right? So there was comments from the members of the band, Gordon included, the late Gordon Goodwin. Now it's very sad that we've lost him. Yeah, that's really quite heartbreaking to lose Gordon as early as we have. He was quite unwell. I suspect that when he was here last year, he was unwell. The comments from the members of the band at that time were saying it is the best concert that they have ever played to these 4,000 or 5,000 kids. Now, where do you think in a little country town you can have a venue that holds 4,000 or 5,000 people? Well, there is no venues. So they create one. They build a tent. It's the biggest tent in the Southern Hemisphere. Which, you know, I don't know why we say the Southern Hemisphere. Maybe it's the biggest tent in the world. Who knows? But it is bloody massive. I'll see if I can find some pictures and put them on the screen, because it's just extraordinary how big this thing is. It's all seated, all the tiered seating up the back, and all the kids are there, and then down the front are the paying public like me, who pay to go and see the concert. But towards the end, right, the band is absolutely alive, just playing the lights out. And then the kids just rush the stage. It's like a mosh pit at the front. And it's in front of all the paying people. And I know the grumpy old people, they probably don't like it. But the atmosphere and the noise is just incredible. Even if you don't want to watch the whole video, just scrub through to the end of the video in the comments, and you can have a look, because it is just unbelievable. So now I lead to where we are now and what's happening this year. And I'm going to go back in time again. So I'm going to go back in time to 14-year-old Jared. And Jared being mentored by the professional musician that's moved to town, and he's sharing music with me. And I fall in love with a band. And it's the tightest rhythm section I've ever experienced, and amazing singers. And then we get to the horn section, which are just, in anybody's book, world class. And it's not just that they're world class players. The writing is amazing, and the album that sucks me in, and this will give it away to those that know, of course, is Monster on a Leash. My goodness me. So I'm listening, the first track, A Little Knowledge is a Dangerous Thing, and it's just, oh my God, I can't believe it. So Tower of Power become my obsession, and I just want everything to do with Tower of Power. And it's hard to get stuff right back then, back in 1994. It's hard to order albums, and they don't release a lot of albums. So I mean, I've got Monster on a Leash. I finally get that on CD. and listen to it until I wear the dots off it. And then they bring out TOP, which is the dark blue cover and the silhouette of Doc on it. And that's just incredible. And it's a different sounding album. Like, you listen to Monster on a Leash and it's really shiny and glossy, and then Top is more dry and tight and controlled. And the baritone sax on TOP is just something else. How they've captured that, it's incredible. All right, so then I start to explore some of the earlier stuff, and I don't like it as much, right? So I get a bit inducted with this, I guess, this more pop sounding Tower of Power, and I love it. And it's not till I get a bit older that I start to appreciate the earlier stuff, and I probably, now that I'm 50, I actually prefer some of the earlier stuff. Yeah, it's interesting to see how my tastes have grown, and my appreciation and what I appreciate about Tower of Power has changed. And I could probably do a whole post just on my love of Tower of Power, and I probably will, just talking about Tower of Power and the influence they've had on me and influence they've had on other people. Anyhow, so I'm on the internet scrolling yesterday, scrolling through, and messaging my wife about this other amazing thing that's happened, which I'll get to in another video. But scrolling through, and then a post on my Facebook feed from Tower of Power comes up, and I'm going to get choked up. They're coming here to Mount Gambier for Generations in Jazz. Now, I've seen Tower of Power before, and that's okay. I've seen them, thankfully, 3 other times in Australia before. But to have them come here to my town, my home, 10 minutes down the road, to play in that that tent that I know is so full of atmosphere, it's just going to be the most incredible, hour and a half, whatever that is. It's just going to be the most incredible time for me, but also for these 4,000 or 5,000 kids that are going to be here. And I've been quietly plugging away at Generations in Jazz on their Facebook feed, saying, you've got to get Tower of Power. I've been doing it for years, right? Not thinking it'll ever happen. And now that it has, quite selfishly, I think they're coming here just for me. They're coming just so I can see them play in my town. Of course they're not, but just, I don't have words. I don't have words for how it's made me feel. Yesterday, you can probably tell I'm a little choked now, but yesterday I was bawling. It was pathetic, but it just, I can't explain it. But Tower of Power coming to Mount Gambier for Generations in Jazz, and I guess that's it. That's my story. Generations in Jazz, Tower of Power. That is a match made in heaven. This is not a plug for Generations in Jazz. This is not a plug for Tower of Power even. This is just how I feel about the greatest soul and funk band to ever grace the planet. They've, those that know, but they'll know, but 58 years or something that they've been performing, and they just tour and tour and tour. They just keep going. And the personnel's changed a bit over time, but the soul has remained the same. And I've just got this thing in the back of my mind that maybe I'll get a chance to meet them. Maybe I'll get a chance to talk to Mimi and Doc about how much their music has meant to me. I mean, they would have had this conversation with hundreds of other people as well. But I would just love to tell them how important their music has been to me. So I guess with that, I think I have to go and play a record, and I think it's going to have to be Tower of Power. Thanks for sticking around. This is just an amazing opportunity for these kids to come and see this incredible band. And It's going to sound an awful way to say it, but I really hope they appreciate it. I know they will, because I just know they will. They just get so amped in that big tent, and I hope all the school teachers have been are now going to spend the next, it's on the 2nd of May, the next few months, just injecting or vaccinating some soul into these kids before they get here. Because I know the teachers love it, and it's funny. When the announcement was made on Facebook with Tower of Power, and then of course Generations and Jazz put it on their Facebook feed, all the comments in there, people that I know, are about me and how much this will mean to me. My friends that I've had contact with and rarely have contact with now, but they just have gone on there and go, "Oh, Jared, you must be beside yourself, and this is, a match made in heaven for Jared. Jared, you must be in heaven. Jared this and Jared that," because they all know that my connection with this band runs so deep. So thanks to everyone that's made comments on Facebook. Maybe they'll be seen by the people that need to see them to, maybe get an intro, or I don't know. Someone suggested that they need to get me on stage with them. Could you imagine? It's nice to dream, but I don't think that would happen. But, if it did, you'll be the first to know. Well, apart from the 4,000 other people in that tent. But anyhow, that's me and Tower of Power and my connection to them. Maybe when I'm a little bit more composed, I will do a video that just talks about Tower of Power, their history, and how they came about, where they started, where they are now, and perhaps what I see for their future, which, it's going to have to end soon. 58 years now is pretty extraordinary, but they're all getting older now, so at some point they're going to have to call it, but hopefully that's not for quite some time yet. Anyhow, thanks for sticking around. I know that was a bit of a blubbery story at the end, so I'm going to sit back, relax, and play some Tower of Power.